year.
Can you believe that?
Shooting
Doing
motorsports.
Yeah.
Wow.
Her first year. She's only going to get better from here on out.
You'd think she'd been doing it for years.
Chris Biggs says you guys did a great job. Thank you, Chris.
It was fun. And the last night we were there, we got to hang out with Chris.
We got to hang out with Chris.
We had a great after party, didn't we?
Oh, man.
Oh,
I'll
boy.
tell you right now, if you're going to hang out with those dudes after the show, you better be ready.
Yeah, what was really nice, too, is one of the people down there actually bought Moxie's rooms so we could stay the night. And that was so nice. I just want to say thank
incredible.
you. I'm not going to say the names or anything.
Well,
I don't know
he
if
doesn't
wants
want us to. He doesn't want to. But you know what? I'll tell you this. Hanging out with that group we were hanging out with afterwards, Chris Biggs was a big part of that. First time we really got to, we had to talk with drivers in the pit area, but we're focused on working. These guys are focused on working on their race cars, getting ready for the show. We don't get to hang out on a personal basis.
Right.
And being that it was the last hurrah of the season, we made the decision, you know what? We had this deal offered to us to stay the night. Hotel rooms were covered. We said, heck yeah, we'll hang out. Why? Let's hang out with these guys, get to know them, and have a good time. The group we hung out with, Mike Medell and Mary and some of their friends. We had Chris Biggs was there, Pistol Pete. Dan Wells, Pistol Pete. Man, these guys.
It was fun.
Whoa. These guys, I don't know. Definitely the most fun I've had at the track all year was last Saturday.
Corey definitely had fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary did too.
I had a good time.
I had a great time. Great time. Whoa.
Played some good music.
It was fun. And then we just went.
I haven't laughed that much in probably a year. We spent so much time laughing and joking and telling jokes and making fun of each other.
Quoting movies.
Quoting movies. And if I remember right, I think we drank a little beer.
A
little.
If you remember right.
If he remembers.
That's what I'm trying to mean, if I remember anything at all. Good Lord.
Yeah, I've never seen you like that.
Little bit of
I'm not a
whiskey
drinker.
was
No,
going
you
on.
weren't staggering around drunk.
No.
You were just feeling
Well,
good.
you know what? He let loose.
He did. And that's what you don't see about Corey. Corey's
Right.
all business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we go to Hawaii, once or twice a year for the last bazillion years. And, if we wanted to get slobbered drunk, we could. But neither one of us drink much at all.
Yeah, then you got to worry about the next day.
Yeah, and so to cut loose like that. Now, like you said, he wasn't slobbering drunk. Or
No,
anything,
I wasn't
but
slobbering
dude,
drunk, but I'll tell you right now, I was sideways.
He was feeling good.
But it was fun.
It was a good time, and I'll tell you, that group, with Chris Biggs and Pistol Pete and Mike Medell and, Vern Wheeler. Vern Wheeler came over and hung out with us, and he's a nut job kicking the pants. He was a lot of fun, and Dan Wells, like you were saying, and just an awesome group of people that hung out with us. And
so that was just awful nice for them to buy our rooms and say, hey, instead of driving back, because, we drove back every night. We'd get back
tired, exhausted.
Between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, if we had drove back, we would have been back at our latest if we would have drove back that night.
Yeah. And
we'd still be driving.
Yeah.
No, we'd be at the side of the road somewhere.
Man.
But
you know
that
what?
was fun.
It was a good time, and I'm glad that we did it. You get to, when you get with these guys on a personal level, it's not just racing. There's that friendship that is started, and I'm glad to have hung out with those guys and did that because, like I said, it's you don't get to do that during the show. You don't get to do that during the week. You show up and you guys know when I'm at the track, I have fun. But it's business time, It's time to do what we do.
Well, it's not like we can sit around and drink a beer either. So it's we go there and we work, and that's what we do.
Well, then afterwards, and I know a lot of people understand, hey, come on out. We're going to have food and drinks and this and that. Great, but we've got a 3.5-hour drive ahead of us. The longer we hang out, the later we get home, and we're already tired when the show's over. And
we've already been at the track for 12 hours.
Right. And we don't typically go out in the pits and hang out.
I do.
Well, you're there all night.
That's your job, though.
But and this is the thing too. Is that goes back to my first couple years in announcing. It's not just the drive. That's 99% of it. But there's that 1% where when we go out to the pits and we're hanging out with let's say we're hanging out with Chris Biggs, and everybody sees that. Oh, that's their favorite. Or you're hanging out with Mike Medell. Oh, Mike's their favorite. Or they say that about everybody. It doesn't matter what pit you're in. Because you're there, that's your favorite. And for me, and I've said this on the show before, I just quit going to the pits because that gets started. And it starts a negative thing. And if you say something about somebody and it's, because so-and-so is his favorite, drivers will throw drivers' shirts at us. And like I've told you guys, you don't wear a driver's shirt at the racetrack. You'll wear a Moxie shirt away from the racetrack. I don't care what you wear.
Right.
But at the racetrack, if you're wearing a Bobby Hogue shirt, well, he's wearing a Bobby Hogue shirt because that's his favorite driver, or that's her favorite driver. That's not the case. It's simply because they gave us a shirt.
Well, I've had to correct people too, because after some events that take place on the track, they get carried out into the pits. I hear people come up to me and they're trying to complain about something, and they tell me, well, I see you're hanging out a lot with this guy. Well, actually, I mounted cameras on this car. That's why I'm over here.
Right.
And you got to sometimes let people know
people
that,
don't see that. They don't always see what we do, and that's kind of...
They'll see the Moxie shirt. They'll see you near their pit. You're over there chatting, having a good time, whatever, turning on cameras or turning them off. And they just suspect automatically that you're there because you're siding with them.
Right, and because you're media, that's their and I get it. Gary, I've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
But I understand how that perception can happen, too. I mean, it's an easy perception when you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's a common perception that people have, and you're the guy that has to deal with it.
We're track officials, and we're not. We're media.
Again, because they see the team shirts, you're right. They think that we're in an official position, and we're not. But... overall, there's...
I'll be up there running the camera, and I'll have a guy come up and complain about stuff.
Yeah.
I'm up here.
Dave, it happened to me
That
all
is
the
not
time.
what I do. I videotape with this camera.
We love what we do.
I point out Mike, and I say, talk to that man right there. He knows all the answers.
We love what we do, and it's just one of those things that is a part of what we do. People just automatically assume, and I get it, because you look official, they think you are official.
Well, of course, correction takes care of that.
Absolutely.
They need to have somebody with a Speedway shirt on. That's who they talk to. I point them to those people.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. But it comes with the territory. And I got to tell you guys, I am proud of what you guys did this year as a team. Gary being new, getting thrown to the wolves, never having to work with in-car cameras before. We talked in the off season before the season started, and it was a good fit. Your personality fits with us. You understand electronics very well. You figured out the GoPros quick. Kind of talked to you about some angles and how to mount cameras and where to mount them, and had that conversation one time. Didn't have to worry about it again. Great footage.
And I'm going to go ahead and interject and just let you know, Gary, that we've had other pit correspondents before. We have never gotten the information as quickly and as much as you have provided this last year. Mm-hmm.
And he did it without a quad. Warren was really good, and I've always said it to Warren, and I've said everybody on the team, Warren is welcome on this team anytime he wants to show up. He's going to be a part. He's a part of this family now. You've talked with Warren. You guys haven't even met. Gary and Warren haven't met, but Warren was kind of the first official pit correspondent, and he had a radio and a quad, and next year we'll get the quad out for you and make your job a little easier.
Yeah, but Warren had a super bad back issue.
Right, so that's why we brought him up into the booth. He's got the personality to be an announcer, and you know what? I think he's got a future in that once he decides he's done working on those silly little asphalt cars. But and I know he listens to the show. That's why I said that. We love you, Warren. But Andy Freeman, thank you. He says you guys are awesome. Very happy to hear you were here. It's been great. Absolutely. Andy carried some cameras for us this year, and he got some awesome footage. We'll get that put up here in a little bit. Thank you, Andy. We appreciate that. All those words from you guys means the most, and the fans. That's what we're there for. But going back to the team this year, I'm proud of what you guys did as a whole. Nina's not here. I would tell her the same thing. Her personality, her talent, Gary, yours, the same thing. Personality fits. Your talent is awesome. And Dave, what do you say about Dave?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dave,
I'm learning different things.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is his first year as a videographer. We went out and we bought the best camera you can buy. We got the best tripod you can buy. after the first couple of races, we learned that tripods aren't just tripods. There's a big difference.
You don't want it to be gritty when you're turning them.
And I learned that if I didn't get a
Yes.
good tripod pretty soon, Dave was probably going to go
Tripod crazy.
tribal
yeah.
monkey on me and beat me up. So I got him. Well, I said, hey, Sandy, here's a tripod. She went on, did some research. She says, okay, here's the deal. She got the tripod ordered, and he's been pretty
I
happy.
know the tripod costs more than the camera. It's $10,000 for that tripod.
That was nuts.
That's why I throw it around all the time.
Really, just in case.
But on top of what we've built, and you know, every year we've taken Moxie a little higher, and making advances. Next year, going to be some big changes coming. And I'm confident in those changes and who we have as a team. We are still looking for a drone pilot. So if you know anybody that's got some talent to fly a drone, we're going to be needing somebody for next season.
Yeah, because I can't do both.
We miss Ed, but Ed had, you know, just like I said, things have their course, and Ed's time ran with Moxie, and it was a great time. And and somebody else that's always welcome here. We love him. He's having a good time with his hobby, flying airplanes. Glad to see he's having a good time, and I know the travel wasn't exactly easy on him. It's rough on all of us.
It's a lot of time out of a weekend, really.
It really is.
Especially
And
when we're working full-time already as
Right.
it is.
Between that and recuperating, it is the weekend.
And, you know, time away from your spouse, like Ed, you know, most of his weekend was with us and not his spouse, and that's the time when you do stuff. But Ed's retired, and he's having a good time, and, you know, we miss him. We love him. He's a good dude, and, you know, we just replacing him is going to be tough because he was
I missed the stories.
yeah, and he was so talented with that drone.
Yeah.
Andy says footage probably wasn't as good as it could have been. I think that footage is going to be pretty good, Andy. I mean, given the circumstances, that moment you captured, we haven't put that out to the public yet, but we will eventually. But, man, thank you for allowing us cameras on your car as well. It's been a great season. I didn't have anybody, personally, Gary, I don't know if we had anybody say no to cameras.
I did at first, and then I got some warm-ups on it because they felt they had never run cameras, and they had this, like, kind of a superstition about cameras.
I'll tell you right now, the most superstitious guy I know when it comes to that is Robbie Sawyer. We go to the Bud Nationals. I will not even approach Robbie about putting cameras on his car. I've tried for 2 or 3 years, and he thinks about it and says, I just can't do it. You know,
this
I get
guy
it.
ended up winning his race.
Yeah.
After he warmed up to the idea. So,
yeah.
Well, good.
I said, see, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Well, I'll tell you, we tried to place those cameras on cars that are at strategic times and where they're at in the lineup, what they've done prior to the week, the week or two before,
what you think is going to happen.
Right, and that's the thing. What you
it's
think.
all prediction. It's all like with who I mounted on this last weekend. It was all prediction.
Well,
I had a feeling when I walked into that track and I saw Osborne, like, I'm mounting on his car. Mm-hmm. We already knew the 12W. I already had to get it on Brandon Wilson. I already knew that.
Yeah. But, there's those times where you think, a lot of people, fans have asked us a lot, well, how come you're not on so-and-so's car? Well, because that car wins all, if he's on a winning streak or he wins all the time at that particular track or whatever it is, probably not going to get the best footage.
Well, because
do you want to see a clear racetrack ahead of you, or do you want to see a guy racing in traffic and see what it's like to be in the heat of the moment in the cockpit of those cars? That is what we try to bring the average fan. But you get guys like, let's just say Orsburn or Gill. You get those guys up front, and they make it look like anybody could do it. Andy Freeman, the night that he was running up front and actually got passed on the last lap, it looked like anybody could get in a modified and drive. He made it look that easy. Mm-hmm. It's not. And when you put those cameras on those cars that are starting deep in the field or starting mid-pack, and they've got a chance to win, they're one of the cars, but you look at him and say, oh, man, he's starting outside third row or inside fifth row. Get a camera on that car. You're taking a risk and getting a camera tore up. But at the same time, the footage you're going to gain, it's worth the risk.
Hey, for the loss of a camera, it's,
Well, and we actually had a pretty good year as far as that goes.
I will tell you this. I don't mean to interrupt you, babe, but listen. As far as cameras go this year, this season was spectacular. Last year where we were at, we tore up and lost more cameras in one season than we had in the previous 3 or 4 years combined.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
This season,
3 lenses.
And that's it. Lenses, and that's
3
it.
lenses.
Not
We
the
didn't lose any
cameras.
cameras. No cameras were broken. They're not destroyed.
Oh, and we didn't leave any cameras on people's cars.
No cameras